RR 2100 is the first race we're having a look at here as we welcome you into the first call plus with IRT. Francis Drake 550, we get down to Zanieta at $4 and Fawn, a horse coming through the grades at a great rate of knots at $5. Danielle Johnson to take the ride aboard her for Roger James on Saturday. We travel over 2100 metres here, Aidan, and we've also got Highland in here too. A fairly evenly stacked up field.
This is obviously a little bit of a lighter segment, isn't it? On the $121 about the Shackler. This horse is a listed winner. Is there another listed winner in this race? It's a $121 shot who could well lead them throughout here.
That could be the key.
Jasmine Fawcett. You know, she's been a very good front-running jockey. 121, so I couldn't believe, you know, at only 14 to place, it would make it like a $40 normally, you know, $45, $48, $50 win price. 121 seems massive. It's the first time I've actually had a chance to have a look at that price. So anyhow, that's where that is. I'll get that off the chest.
It wasn't faux shock. That was faux real.
It was faux real. Let's have a look at the map for us here anyhow. So I've got speed here coming from Prince Mambo to likely get across Stacey Ann to get forward. The Shackler's got to be somewhere near there. I know it's been leading up in jumps races, but it led throughout when it won its listed race. Victory Drive goes forward. Vencedora has got a really tricky barrier draw. I've got Cherry Bay a little bit handier than what you might expect, getting 3 back the fence, and I think it'll probably be a good place to
Blinkers
be.
on.
Yeah, Cheeky Boy and Francis Drake to go back. Francis Drake was really good last night.
Interesting one, Cherry Bay with the blinkers on. Second up, I suppose, but as you'd think, have reasonable residual fitness was sort of last seen in January before that Avondale resumption in April. But 4 starts with blinkers for 3/3 and a first.
Here's Fawn winning last start. Very good effort this was. Presses into the race from out wide, and look, she's got so much upside here, Jason Tan. She is taking on a pretty quality sort of a lineup. How do you assess her?
She was beautifully ridden. The race developed perfectly for her this day, and the way the track played suited runners that came down the portion of the track that she did. I really like the run of Prince Mambo.
Oh, me too.
I've been waiting for him to get to a position in the ratings for him to strike. He lost a heck of a lot of his early speed, but over that 2,000, 2,100 metre type trip, he can have an opportunity to work around to a spot on the lead where he's more suited. Like as a younger horse, he would run great races right up on the lead.
Yep.
Now, the rail's going to be in the true position. If he can get clear and get round to the front, he's got 4 kilograms in his favour over Fawn from that run.
There's only a length between them that day. And you think here, you think, yeah, he's just going to go back through the field and think he's just going to drop out. Well, he actually fought back really well. And I think that's a really encouraging sign for him. Like you say, a 4 kilogram swing on Fawn. By weights and measures, he should be turning the tables.
I thought it meant that he represented a really nice each-way bet.
Some of the best stats you'll see in the race around High Lad. He's very much a genuine stayer on the way through, and in 12 months' time, Aidan, you could see him contesting some of the very good races. From his barrier draw of 5 under the 60 kilos, what do you see happening for him during the run?
Yeah, he's a go-forward horse as it stands. This is his win of the Te Aroha Cup. It was a good win. He was in the right spot. Cheeky Boy's run was really good this day. Went to Pukekohe on a track that just really was just too testing for him. I expect an improved run from Cheeky Boy. He comes in, I think, 3.5 kilograms better, is it? Or it might be 1.5 kilograms. Actually, I might have actually got that completely wrong from there. Yeah, it's certainly a whole lot better. It goes up 7 kilograms, doesn't it, from that win, where it's 3.5. So it is 3.5 kilograms better. That's right.
Correct. I just thought, it's interesting.
I was going back
sort
to
of listening to you work it out. And, no, it's just nice. Rub that out, all that working that you've done on your paper there. But High Lad comes into back in class, but having to carry that weight. But he runs Te Rapa okay, dead track surface fine, so he's got to be one of the horses to beat, as the market suggests.
It's like that Russell Crowe. What was that movie?
A Beautiful Mind.
Yeah, that's the one. That was mine.
Sum it up for me. Sum it up.
I'm going to go Zenyatta against what we've spoken about. But the third last time out was encouraging performance. One thing we've noticed in the last few weeks is you just can't underestimate just how fit the Murray Baker and Andrew Forsman. They won 5 races last weekend, and you're thinking, here's a horse who's a little bit touch and go. Well, you just got to put your faith in the stable.
For you?
Prince Mambo, just a little each way on Prince Mambo. if he can get rousted to the front and find the rail, then he might give him something to catch.
Let's take a bit of mumbo, do you?
Absolutely not.
Let's take a quick look at the two jumps
dance.
races on the card from Te Rapa on Saturday. We've got the first of them, the open hurdle. The Porritt Sand Hurdle, travelling over 2,800 metres, no change 2:30. It's a 1 to 3:20, but Aidan, you've put the big circle around the 6-horse.
Yeah, there was only really to spite you boys, because I know you're both really keen about no change. So.
Tell us about the text that you've been getting supporting you.
I do like Hazel Jazz, and I have spoken to Stephen Roth just after the horses had 2 trials leading in. One was an open handicap where he was able to beat Solemnisation, which is decent form, and then he's been able to win a jumping trial by 10 lengths. His horse has only won 1 of 8, and that doesn't compare favourably to the likes of It's a Wonder and No Change, who are probably better hurdlers than Hazel Jazz, but I'm just expecting him to be more forward. And I think he can I think he'll go to the front, and I expect him to be trying to lead them throughout in what will be a pretty quickly run hurdle race. I don't think there'll be too many hurdle races run as quickly as what this one will be run tomorrow.
Well, all the jumping races at Te Rapa tomorrow on a better side of dead, or the track being on the better side of dead, they will sort of scoot pretty fast. So I thought No Change came into it well with 2 race day runs under his belt. I thought he's a worthy favourite, and the bet of the weekend for me. But I respect what you say about Hazel Jazz and how forward he is going to be for his resumption. He will receive pretty valuable weight allowance with James Severide able to claim 3 kilos. So,
All right, jumps expert. What do you think of the steeples?
I'm looking forward to the jump season, actually, probably as much as I have done, because we are sort of starting afresh. There's a few horses that aren't going to be there that were there last year, and obviously we've seen a really good Warrnambool Carnival in the last few days, and Monarch Chimes is coming home, speaking to David Brown this morning, and they'll set that horse for the Great Northern. So anyhow, onto the...
Riverton on Wednesday as well, to open things up here in NZ.
Yeah, so we've got plenty to look forward to for the jump season. Here's the market for the Ken and Roger Brown Memorial Steeplechase. This used to be a prestige jumps race. I see it's not listed as a prestige jumps race this weekend, which, anyhow. The name's Bond at $3, along with Just a Charlie, $4.50 about Ngatera Gold. The name's Bond has met Ngatera Gold on 2 previous occasions and chased it home both times. Ngatera Gold's won 2 of 3. And the name's Bond has won 3 of 5, so they're both high class steeple
You're
chases.
all over this form, aren't you?
I do love the early races, because you can get a fitness edge on some of these, and these will be fast run races. So if you've got a horse who does handle a good track better than others, certainly. And the other one there is Chocolate Fish, who was also nominated for Wanganui on Sunday.
I wonder how many of those horses we'll see come Great Northern Steeplechase time around Te Rapa.
Well, it's similar to what you do with a derby preparation. You get those horses in the spring, tip them out, then you bring them back. So there's obviously options for trainers how they do it. I don't think you can't go through the whole season and expect to be competitive in Northerns, especially on these sort of.
Can you single one out, Jason?
The name is Bond.
Okay.
Happy to jump onto the Stephen Ralph train at that juncture.
Are you on the 007?
Yeah, I am. So
too?
this horse was a 10-length winner of the Waikato Hunt Cup last year. So yeah, he's a good horse, and obviously. 2nd, 3rd and 4th on this day in the last 3 years as well.
Let's go.
How about that? It's on fire.
He's an expert. Let's go to the 1,600 metre event later on in the card at Te Rapa. This is the NZI 1,600. $7.50 about Skywalker Lucky Sweep, and Stand Firm. Then we're $8 for Big Mike, who was well backed last start. On what was a worse track than what he's going to cop at Te Rapa, Aidan?
Yeah, exactly. This is another really even race. So as we're seeing in prices there, $7.50 for Skywalker Lucky Sweep, Stand Firm, $8. Big Mike, who was really good last time out though, wasn't he? And then $9 in Cantissimo. So we've got a really loose favourite. So if you are liking one, I thought that there was enough in Big Mike's run. He's got a tricky barrier draw this weekend though, but you can see the horse there hitting the front at Pukekohe, and not a bad effort with a bit of Stu Lang's money on this day too.
Went very, very close to success here, Big Mike, and fought off a couple of others that he'll meet again. Has a good enough record at Te Rapa, having won over 1,600 metres going back to September on a track that had a little bit more rain, well, it was a bit more rain affected than what he's going to get on Saturday, but he's one of the horses to beat. If Jonathan Riddell's able to punch him out and be as positive as he was at Pukekohe that day and previously in his career, then yeah, he's going to be that much fitter and one of the main chances.
Does the price appeal?
It's one of those races, isn't it? It's okay.
Yeah.
I wouldn't say it's a massive spoil, but it's okay.
Richardson Parker team with a couple of runners in the race. Let's have a look at Stand Firm, Sarah Band and Dr. Hank back at Matamata. Here is Stand Firm coming wide on the track, wearing the blinkers there in the pink colours. On this occasion, ridden by Sam Collett, and she'll take the ride once again at Te Rapa. How do you line it up here, Jason?
Swooped into it at the right time. Another ride indicative of the form that Samantha's in, just making her run at a situation of the race that's suited. So good ride, step up in class, up against some pretty tough gallopers that have been there and done that, but you can't knock the form that Graham Richardson and Gavin Parker have her in.
Yeah.
She's flying, so she's a mare in form, and she's drawn well, so she should map just in behind the main speed, and you'd think that should be right there.
Sum the race up for me, Aidan.
Well, at the top of the book, we've got Sky Wicker there, who's above the benchmarks, a 78, so dropping back into a 75. Now, this horse hasn't run in a 75 race since the beginning of 2016, like January 2016, so, 2.5 years coming up. So she's not going to know herself back in this grade. She's been contesting very good races, Group 2s and company, and being competitive in them. So while she's at the top of this handicap, Jordan Nason takes 2 off to 57.5. If she cops conditions and gets a truly run race, which in this bigger size field I think she will, I think she's a contender. I thought it was down to her and Big Mike.
Yeah, I was with Big Mike, agree with what you say vis-a-vis Skywaker, and didn't mind for a little bit outside of the square, Piazza, drawn the inside, second up, has won second up before.
Piazzetta.
Sorry?
Piazzetta, is it?
Piazza.
Oh, okay.
It's the mare by Sir Percy, trained by Lance O'Sullivan and Andrew Scott. Yeah.
Oh, yeah, so there's a couple of them.
Yeah, there's a Piazza and a Piazzetta, but I'll go with Piazza.
That's going to be a trick for George Simon,
She's been a decent enough horse to us on the show, I think, Piazza. She's run a good race for us in the past.
OK, let's leave our Te Rapa preview there and head to Riccarton Park. And we spoke to Thad Taylor during our live show, and he gave us a really good push for Upper Hand in this race, a horse that's been well backed in the rating 85 it is, the David Emerson Accountant and Business Consultancy. And we travel over 1,200 metres. William Wallace is fresh up to the races, $3.20. Everything else at double figures, barring Upper Hand down the bottom of the book. Pace could be a factor here. Aidan Rodley, and what have you put together for us?
Yeah, what's the difference between a Piazza and a Piazzetta?
No idea. Asking the wrong person.
We'll ask an Italian. Sabre, Barabbas and Nightcap likely to press forward. He Can Fly. Cox Singer likely to be somewhere near there as well. William Wallace getting back on the inside along with Wizak. What were you saying?
There's a bit to this race, isn't there?
Oh, there is. There's a lot of early speed in here.
Why you go then?
Oh, no, I was just saying there is a bit to this race. William Wallace is a 2-to-1 favourite, but he's not past the post.
No, it's a really nice horse.
There's some depth to this race, like Dynamic, as you'll see here. He comes into it well with a 4-kilo claim. All of a sudden, he's coming down to 85 from open handicaps, and I know William Wallace has got him cold this day, but yeah, good run, William Wallace behind Henning. No one else wanted to speak.
I'm letting you talk this one through.
You came in with a lot of heat during that speed map, like you had a lot to say. We're just giving you the stage.
There's a bit of depth to the race, like between Upper Hand, you've got the ex-Hong Kong horse, He Can Fly.
Definitely, I'm not being negative, but do you think we could get a higher camera at the Foxton Trials? No, in all seriousness, it's very difficult
It is, but William Wallace hits the front here and then just goes clear. You can see that the horse is running well, and I thought that was a really nice performance from William Wallace. Just shows that he's ready to go. This is, they say 3 lengths. It looked like a bit more than that to me. So a horse who's in pretty good order.
Maybe for your punishment, you could sponsor a scissor lift to go to the Foxton Trials.
Well, I mean, I'm just thankful that we've got vision of the trials, really.
Yeah, but you know what I mean, though.
I know what you
know what I mean. I'm not being a negative germ or anything.
It sounds like you're being a negative germ.
Oh, well, maybe I am, but I'll just stay
But that was a great trial. The significant thing, he wears the... Did you say something about the blinkers?
He's got blinkers on.
Yes, and he wore blinkers in that trial. So he was very good with them on. So he looked very sharp and looked forward and looked ready to go. So
yeah, he did.
Is there anything else in the race that you can see challenging him?
Isaac's got a very good fresh-up record, beat home Fairlight at the trials. It was a really nice trial as well. We've seen Fairlight come out and run well. First up, 3 starts fresh for a win and 2 minor places. The concussion plates come off. So I thought Isaac was some sort of danger. And Nightcap's got a great strike rate, a winner of 5 of 13. It's a horse with a lot of ability.
And Pippi Ray's been in very good form. So
3 lengths last time out that caned them at Timaru.
Night Nurse is a horse that has run some, very cheeky races in a fresh state. This is a race with more depth than what she's met in the past in a fresh state, and she will be wanting more ground. But it wouldn't surprise me if BB Hong just sat back on her, and if it turned into a swoopers track, then as opposed to a a swoopers track, then she could come around them and be there.
She actually fresh up has run second to first serve at Riccarton over 1,200 metres, and I think it was on a bit of a testing track too.
Yes.
So I've always taken that line of form from her that there's definitely something there with Night Nurse.
Yeah, horse unfortunately that we never sort of saw at a very best first serve before.
Pittman's got a really strong hand in the race numbers-wise, including Sabre, who's only beaten half length by Scapolo at Blenheim. So it is a race with a bit of depth.
Yeah, recently acquired into a stable, Sabre.
Let's head to race number 3, the Karaka May Sale Premier. Don't forget newzealandbloodstock.co.nz. We've got that sale coming up. $5.20 for LP, $5.50 residential, but a little shorter, $3.90 around Euphoria lining up in this race. Jason Tan, 1,600 metres is the trip, and look, you sort of got 2 halves to the field, and the market reflects that.
Yeah, you've got Euphoria, who's in super form, the daughter of Rip Van Winkle. I thought she was excellent in being able to run down residential last time, so there isn't anything between them again.
She is balloted in the Great Easter Stakes, second on the ballots there, and there are 2 horses without jockeys declared at the moment, so she could yet make it into that race later in the program.
She might be competitive in it too.
Here's one of your favourites, Residential, running second to Euphoria. Is there any reason why Residential could turn the tables on Euphoria here, or do you expect a similar result?
Market got this right. They said that Euphoria would have the slight advantage, even though there was a decent late move for Residential. Residential had everything positionally to beat Euphoria this day, and Euphoria was too good. So all things being equal, they meet on the same weights, then I would expect Euphoria to be able to swoop past Residential again, unless the pace was a little bit more tepid and Euphoria was able to, and Euphoria did things wrong, which she can do. She can over-race every now and then, and that can affect her in sort of the finish. But.
Yeah, there was to be a 2 kilogram swing on the ratings, but they are taking Tina Komanyagi's claim on Residential this time, so that's why they are even. I thought Elfie was a really big chance into this race, a horse who's in terrific form. This is a horse who was running second to La Fiangeur a couple of starts back, beat home Lara Fair, and I think the form's rock solid.
You do very much like the form around Alfie. She was 4th last time at Riverton, maybe she didn't quite cop the track there, or maybe she didn't quite cop the back up, but she's had a little bit more time to get over that, so I'd expect that she'd be pretty close to her best. She has to concede a bit of weight to Residential, so she ran straight past Residential in this, but that was set weights.
Yeah.
So now she has to concede a bit of weight, given that she's better performed overall in the handicaps. But I still think she'll be a force. She should be the top pick for me in the race.
Okay, well, that form might stack up in the first race on the card too, where we see a couple of horses coming out of those races. The first race is actually quite a handy field put together, but we have had the scratching of the Precious One, which opens it up a whole lot. $3.20 redefined, $5 a Kinthos. Also Nowhere Man, but our Teddy Boy, we've heard from the bookmakers, Aidan, that there's been a pretty sizable push for this horse under Lisa Allpress.
Yeah, it was a winner at Riverton 2 starts back, but I think the run that really made us sit up and take notice was that last start run for 3rd at Wingatui, rating 75 company, so stays in the same grade. It does go up 3.5 kilograms, but the horse is still a 3-year-old, looks progressive, looks as though he's capable of figuring. I think the heavy track might be a little bit of a concern, but he has won on a heavy track in the past. I just don't know how heavy it was that day, but certainly a chance. Redefine's obviously a worthy favourite here after that last start win at Blenheim.
Corabella also a good last start winner, a $12 chance. Jason Tan, when looking at the overall picture of this field with the Precious One, it was probably a little easier to work out. Now with her outs, What's your final assessment?
I was very tempted with the Precious one in there to be with Redefine. So now that she's out, I'm very clearly with him. You'll look at it and you say, okay, he's coming off a Blenheim run, and maybe the bigger track of Riccarton sort of will test him, but his form from the north before he won very easily at Blenheim was good. Should position Justin behind them, and Tina Coleman-Yagi is an informed jockey. And she's going to be benefited, Tina, over the next little while, because NZTR announced during the week a change to their apprentice allowance structure, which means I think it's 0 to 9, you get 4 kilo allowance, 10 to 39, 40 to... What's that, 40 to 89, and then 89 to 149.
So in the past,
like
once apprentices got to 100 wins, that was their claim gone. So now they've extended so they can go out to, it just means that our apprentices will be more competitive, especially over these winter months when, trainers want to use a claim. It's just going to extend their lives here.
Yes.
Or obviously their careers as apprentices here.
Not their actual lives, but hopefully, you live to at least the average and then push on. But there was a situation right in Australia where the rating of our wins made it very attractive for our leading apprentices to head over there, exactly. Particularly during this time of the year, because the way they count their metropolitan wins is not the same as how they count their country and provincial wins. But hopefully
Going back to Redefine as well, look, there was only a length and a half away from Mihal, 3 starts back. So when we're talking about that horse being unbeaten 4 in the north, got to be some sort of chance. Just going back to one in this race, Cora Bella, you plucked it at 17s last time.
I don't know how it paid.
How'd you assess it in this?
Look, it's a step up for it. It was well backed at Timaru, that's why I wanted to get on.
Yeah.
And it's come out $17. Couldn't believe it last start. But this is a different kettle of fish. I think this race that it lines up in, I'd love to see it have a couple of runs against these horses and see it running on before I put the money on it.
Yeah, it was a good win though.
I'd be watching Classic Warrior too.
Nowhere Man, there's nothing wrong with Nowhere Man. And
I know that Classic Warrior's got a pretty sizable rap from the stable on him as a potential Winter Cup horse. So look, if he wants to live up to his rap, then he'd want to be competitive in this lineup, and he's $16, so he'd be certainly one to watch. Should we leave it there, gentlemen?
Sounds good to me.
Thanks for your time this morning. Jason Tarn, Aidan Rodley, and to you at home, good luck on the punt over the weekend.